recording our Hawaiian oral histories are several, but the two that we feel are important are, first, to have a record of our Hawaiian value system available to future generations of Hawaiian youth, so they will have a foundation of reference and information as to why we made our life and family decisions as we felt were necessary. It may also be of help to those mo'opuna, or grandchildren, in the future to understand why they make their decisions as they do. Secondly, there will probably be people researching and writing about Hawaiian diaspora, the out-migration of Hawaiian people for economic and other reasons. This will be a very significant story to tell when you consider almost 50% of the Hawaiians were forced into economic exile to survive.
It's very expensive in Hawaii. Kahu was in Maui, and he had his wife and his 3 children, and it was really tough. He had to hold down 3 jobs. I mean, you know, in your 20s, that's ridiculous.
Life here, I found, was a lot cheaper than it was at home. And one thing that you learn from moving away from Hawaii, you avoid the shipping strikes. Here you can go to the store and you can get your things. And in Hawaii, when there's a shipping strike, things didn't reach Hawaii.
I can't raise my children back in Hawaii because the pay is too cheap. At that time it was 75 cents an hour. And I came up here and I was making $1.50 an hour. So you can see the difference. It's everything is so expensive. And that is why I left Hawaii.
If your children were raised in Hawaii, you think they would have different values?
I feel they would have better values from Hawaii if they were raised in Hawaii. The generosity, the ho'omanao nui, and, you know, carefree. Now my oldest son did have the opportunity to go and live with my mom and my dad when he was 19, and he learned a lot. It really turned his life around. He grew up, in my opinion, to be a better person.
I've taught them Hawaiian way, and I've even taught, because I'm involved with a lot of people because I teach hula, see? So I've taught them more of the Hawaiian way of living. All my friends know how I am, and they've changed completely. Well, my kids were, you know, they have friends and they go to their house, and if they're eating, they have to wait. Okay, so my son comes home, my number 5 comes home, and he brings his friend. The friend sits in the living room, and we're eating pork chops. Well, we're going to eat. So I said, "Is your friend in the living room?" "Yes." I says, "And what are you going to do? You're going to sit down and eat while he's sitting down in the living room?" And he says, "Well, that's what they do to me, you know." So they figure they do the same thing. I said, "Listen here. And you know, when you're bringing up kids, you get 2 pork chops, you know, for the growing boys. So, you know, instead of you having 2, you're going to share yours with that gentleman out there. So you ask him to come and eat." He looked at me like I'm taking his food away, you know. And I says, "The next time you don't want to share your food, then don't bring him home." I says, "But you don't ever do that." I says, "We're not brought up that way." I says, "If you have anything, if you have the last, you give it if they want it, you know." So I said, that's the way we were brought up. So the kids learned that, you know. I mean, they still, they hug and they kiss all the time. They still have the aloha.
Yeah, that's
the Hawaiian way.
Good.
I think if my children were raised in Hawaii, they'd be hanging out. I mean, I really seriously think they would be hanging out. Probably drug problems. As it is, I raised them by myself, the boys, and the value that I put in them was, I can't say it on video. Say it. No, because I have to swear. I can't swear.
Oh, yes.
But anyway, yeah, My boys were raised very strict. I raised them very strict. I mean, you know, I put a lot of values. All they do is eat. I mean, you know, they're all doing good. But I just feel that if they were raised in Hawaii, because I have so many nephews and nieces, I feel that they probably would be, I mean, I've had nephews sent up for me to take care of. It's like, go with the mean auntie. You know, so I've raised some of my nephews up here when they get out of hand. But I always tell them that they have to work, they have to treat their wives good, and do respect the kupunas.
The Kupuna Project is an effort by a group of Native Hawaiians to identify and interview Native Hawaiian elders. These recorded histories will be archived and become available to the individuals interviewed and their descendants, and or others who present an educational or cultural interest in such information. We wish to provide, by the collection of this data, some insight to the effect of the culture of our ancestors, the consequences of their family environments, and the impact of their biographical histories on their lives at present and the lives of their descendants.